got a little talk going about constipation in this video, just a little, but it's reality, and I know a lot of you relate to that, but just for a little bit. And not only that, we're going to be talking about family because we have been out and about and we have had some good visits with some of our kids. We've been fooling around with AI over at Bridget's house. The kids have been making up stories and I'm fascinated by it. So join us. It's just a simple video, not too much news going on, but I hope you'll be there. Look at my dahlias. I have 2 pots of bold dahlias coming up. And these are from last year, by the way, I think. Yes, they are. Isn't that exciting? Well, my friends, well, it's sweater weather again. We're into May gray, but not supposed to be, and it's chilly again. We have a pretty busy couple of days. We're headed over to Bridget's house in about an hour, and Billy and Bonnie are down from Idaho. And as you know, Billy's daughter Jenny recently had a little baby girl, Charlie Jane. I thought it was the 16th great-grandchild, but I think it's the 15th. I'm not sure. I have to go back and count again. Isn't that wonderful that I'm losing count of all our grandchildren? So he's down for about 10 days because he has a busy couple of weeks. His son Billy is graduating from LA County Fire Captain School at the end of next week. So we're going to be having a big luncheon and celebration for that. We have Mikey's anniversary. Mikey and Sabrina have an anniversary tomorrow. Little Billy, Billy Bo Baggins, the future captain, has a birthday tomorrow or the next day. It's getting very, very exciting. Somebody else has a birthday. I think it's Kelly. Maybe it's Annie. Isn't that awful? I have them all on my calendar, and someday I'm going to show you that calendar again of all the birthdays, and I do have to add little Charlie Jane on there. We might not see Bridget's kids because they won't be home from school. As you know, it's kind of fun to see everybody. We spent a lovely weekend with children. We went to Palm Sunday Mass with Margie and her sons Aiden and Colin, Colin's wife Brianna, and Margie's 2 little granddaughters, Paisley and Peyton. And we went out to breakfast afterward to Mimi's, so we celebrated that. My second favorite breakfast in the world, Eggs Benedict. My first, of course, is my salmon on the bagel, you know that. And look at Aiden over there. He's got something really yummy. And Lucy has a big omelet. And Colin has huevo grande. Look at those. We are at Mimi's. Here we are with my daughter Margie and her granddaughter Peyton. Say hello. I love you. And we are at Mimi's having a wonderful breakfast after Palm Sunday Mass. And there's Aiden, who was wonderful, taking care of Moosey and pushing him in his wheelchair. And our grandson Colin and Brianna and little Paisley. There she is. What? My second favorite breakfast in the world, Eggs Benedict. My first, of course, is my salmon on the bagel, you know that. And look at Aiden over there. He's got something really yummy. And Lucy has a big omelet. And Colin has huevo grande. Look at those. We are at Mimi's. And shortly after we left Mimi's, we headed out to Matthew and Cindy's house. So we've had a pretty busy couple of days on the road. It's been fun. And I'm trying to take pictures of it all, but sometimes I kind of forget that we're enjoying everybody so much that I'm forgetting to film everything. I had a very exciting thing happen to me in the market yesterday. a gal that she's a checker, and she's an older woman, Karen. And honestly, Karen has known Matthew and Colleen and Margie because we've all lived around in this area for about 20 years. Now, some of the kids have moved a little further toward the east, not too far away, but further east. And Karen doesn't see all of them too much anymore, but she sees me every once in a while. I don't always shop at the same place, but I hadn't been there in several weeks. And when I was checking out, we were chatting away about, we had just been out to see Matthew, and I was bringing her up to date on Matthew. And she looked at me and she said, "Oh, you've lost weight." And I was so thrilled because, I haven't, according to the scales, lost a lot of weight. But so many of you, my friends, have told me that too. And I was so happy to hear that. You know what that does so far as your eating habits go. And once again, I'm not calling this a diet, but it keeps you encouraged to keep going and do whatever you're doing. I had another book, and I have it in the other room I meant to show you, that arrived in the mail yesterday that I bought. And it's about the healthy way of eating. Basically, it's two sisters that talk about it's kind of a high protein way of eating. It's just healthy eating, but she breaks down the different meals she keeps carb meals and protein meals on different nights that you're supposed to kind of break them up. I still have to read a little bit more about it to understand where she's going, but she's a little bit too regulated for me in that Moosey and I have decided, and Moosey still is going to keep going his regular way. He wanted his oatmeal this morning, so he got his oatmeal, and he had his blueberry muffin the other day. And if we're going to eat up our French onion soups and mushroom cream of mushroom soups, we'll still be doing that. But it's definitely keeping an eye on the protein high and keeping those carbs down. So that was kind of exciting. Now, as far as the garden goes, and I wasn't even out there this morning to take pictures, we have probably a dozen of our Idaho irises coming up. Look at the irises. We still have those lavenders out, but look at the rest of the buds coming over here. Lots and lots of buds. I have to send this up to Brendan because in school, he was the guy. Brendan was my buddy that helped me do all the separating of all these bulbs and replant them, and he'll be thrilled. But can you see that they all seem to be purple? I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. The two urns here, this one and this one, just have tons of greens coming up, but nothing yet. Warm up. I think things have to warm up here. Come on, St. Francis. Let's get everything warmed up here. They're budding out in all 4 tubs. 2 tubs still have not sprouted yet, but I can't figure out. They all seem to have a purple tip on top. And I know I have some pinks and fuchsias and yellows in there. Why they're not coming up, I don't know. It seems to be the purple lavenders and the lavenders are coming up. If any of you know anything about this, let me know. Do the purples decide to come out first? I talked to Mikey the other day, and because it was actually yesterday, because I'm sure a lot of you have heard about our recent earthquake here. It was centered more down in the San Diego way, which is basically where one of our sons, Mikey, lives with his family. But it seemed to give a strong shake up here in this LA area and out in the Riverside area too. And it's kind of funny the way these earthquakes go. That one started off as a 6 something, which is huge. And they've narrowed it down to a 5.1, which is still a big quake. But it was further out in sort of in the mountain area, kind of a non-populated area, so that the populated areas around San Diego did feel the fringes of it. Mikey said it wasn't bad, and he has felt worse 20, 25 years ago up here when we were having a series of heavy earthquakes. But the kids were home for Easter vacation, and Lizzie got a little upset. I think it was Lizzie's first earthquake, and she came running into Mikey. So obviously it was felt. But everybody's okay. Thank God there wasn't much damage at all. But it does start everybody thinking again, doesn't it? However, while we were talking to Mikey, he said, I think I'm coming up with the girls on Thursday or Friday, so we'll have a nice visit. And I thought, how wonderful. I think I might have told you that their son, Dane, the one with the big head of red-headed curls, who's our trumpet player, is heading to New York to play with his high school orchestra at Carnegie Hall. It's a big, big deal, and they're very excited. I think they leave tomorrow, and Sabrina is going as a chaperone, so she'll be gone with Dane for several days. So Mikey will be holding down the fort with the two little girls. So they're going to come up and visit us on Thursday or Friday, and he wants to be back. I think they return late Sunday night. And our plans for Easter Sunday are probably, I think we might be having breakfast with Dub and her family. If not, we'll be having breakfast with Colleen and her family. The kids will all be home. Nope, I don't think Brendan's home. He doesn't come home for another couple of weeks. So it will just be the two girls home from college. So it's exciting for us. And as you know, it always gets our spirits up to have something fun to do. Now I put the glasses on to talk about something a little more serious. You know, when you change your eating habits, you know what happens sometimes. Your system gets a little bit turned around. And I never thought about that mainly. However, the old dreaded, and here I'm going to say it, that constipation set in again. Now I know Moosey's over there in Moosey's world thinking, oh no, here she goes again. But you know, ladies, it's reality. And we have to talk about this every once in a while. And I couldn't figure this out. I did cut out having my herring and my artichokes and my broccoli early in the morning. That was, as I told you, my quirky, savory taste breakfast in the morning. Or I don't have much at all until maybe around noontime. But I had started eating those little egg muffins and a lot more fruit in the morning and cottage cheese, which is all good and fine. And other things have changed a bit. They're really cutting down more on carbs. And I realized that this is a problem with your change in eating habits. And it's something that I'm reading up on. I have not been doing my magnesium citrate lately, and maybe that's it. But we've talked about this before, and I think they say something like 80-something% of people, especially aging people, have problems like this. And it's not fun, is it? However, I'm okay now. But you know, when you wake up in the morning and you just not feeling right, you know, you feel so much better when all those things are taken care of. That always makes me feel great. I can start my day. I can carry on with everything I'm going to do. But when that's not working, things just don't go well that day. And that was for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. I know he's up. He's making noises down there. I did tell you this cute little story in another video, but we have had quite a number of new subscribers since I told this story that is associated with that C word. So I'm going to tell it to you now. All my life, even as a young child, I suffered from this constipation. And my mother fed me various things, mineral oil, cod liver oil. I remember my mother paying me $0.25 for every spoonful that I would take of milk of magnesia. And the worst one was when she put it in water and you had to drink a whole glass of water with it in there. That was even more horrible. But as time went on, this would attack me once in a while in my life. And I dealt with it with the various remedies that my mom would take care of. She took good care of all that with me. My dad was always very concerned. Dad called me his hunchy bunchy. I was the only girl, and he and I were very close too. Well, when Moosey and I got married, we moved to Fort Knox, Kentucky, because Moosey was in the service at the time. And my father used to write letters to me, his hunchy bunchy. And always at the end of every single letter, he had the little question, how are your barrels? And I thought that was so cute. He always called that little problem my barrels. How are your barrels doing? And I thought that was so cute. The fact that here I was, a married woman, and my daddy was still worried about my barrels. But, oh, he's not here to worry about them, but what are you going to do? There is one exciting snack that I am dying to make, and I will make it maybe tomorrow. Moosey and I think are home tomorrow, and we don't have anything on. And that is, I'm going to make a no-carb onion ring. And you're going to die when you see it. You're going to want to make it. Now, I've loved onion rings all my life, but it's different. I'm not going to tell you about it, but my mouth was watering when I saw someone do this. So tomorrow I will do that for you, and you'll probably see it in the next video. I hope that I remember to do some filming because Bonnie and Billy have brought their rescue dog, well, not a rescue doggy. Billy had several rescue dogs, but Piper, his border collie, this one is a service dog. And Billy is retired now, so he's not using him as a service dog. But he's a wonderful dog, and you swear he understands every word you say. So I will be filming Piper for you too, because when we were up in Idaho, and I did a lot of videos for you from Idaho, you loved it when I was videoing with Piper. So I'll be doing that. So I'm going to close now. Moosey and I have to get ready to go. And hopefully I will see you over at Bridget's. We're going to be having lunch with them and just relaxing for a couple of hours and having a good visit. Will you look at Chemo? Every time I opened the door, she'd run back. He would run back in. Here he is in his cozy little bed on my sofa, not wanting to go out today because it's too cold. Isn't it, Chemo? Yes, Nanny knows. Well, we just returned home from Bridget's house where we had a great lunch with Billy and Bonnie, and Bridget and her hubby Shep were there, and a couple of the girls stopped in between lacrosse games and on their way back to school to play in a game, and it was fun, and we had a great time. Right now, I'm wondering if this isn't light. You're going to have to tell me if it's too bright. Bridget adjusted my camera at one point, so I think that the brightness might be a bit much right now. But we took some pictures sitting around. We sat outside, and we had a great big tostada bowl with salad and avocado on top and cilantro dressing. We had a great lunch. Hello, Piper. Come see Nanny. Yes, you remember me. I know. And you have a buddy to play with. This is your best friend here, huh? Oh, well, here we are. Here we are, Bridget. Hi, Bridget. Hello. And Billy and Bonnie are down from Idaho. And my Mosey, and we're over at Bridget's having a beautiful, beautiful El Pollo Loco, my favorite lunch. And the two dogs were there. Of course, you all know Piper, Billy's great service dog, that border collie. And right away, he knew me when I came out. Hi. Here's my Bevan getting her haircut. She's in a lacrosse game coming up. Last game she made 3 goals, right?
Yes.
Amazing. And that's
Professional
that's lovely
hairstyles.
Bernie. Bernie's a member of the family, right?
Yes.
And here's the next gal to go to high school, huh? Little Brookie,
Yes.
graduating and on her way to high school. Wow. Big girls. I'm so glad I got to see you guys today. For a minute, and I'll take some video.
This is on Bevan.
And then are you going to do a pony or just leave it?
She's gonna do it. She's gonna do the black. I'm just gonna braid these down.
Oh, you put it together.
She's learning how to French braid,
Put
everybody.
it up together. It looks like braided right here, but it's
Liam
yeah.
was his
Wow.
roommate.
But normally it.
Why did you do that to your hair, Bridge?
What?
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bernie's the professional braider.
So I put a couple of clips on of us sitting around and gabbing. What we had fun with was we were talking about AI, you know, the automated business that's going on right now. After lunch, we sat around at their outside fireplace and these comfortable couches, and we just laughed. And this is where we were talking about the artificial intelligence, making up stories. And Piper was snoozing away, just sitting there listening. Shep was saying it's amazing how you can generate a story about, all you have to do is put something in there about two people, and he put a kind of a fake story in there about Nanny and Moose living in a cottage covered with vines. Of course, she was adding all kinds of funny stuff in there with their 12 kids and so forth. Well, in seconds, honestly, in seconds, a story came back that was generated all about Nanny and Moose and all their kids living in this cottage. Absolutely amazing. Now, I guess you have to pay to put this AI on your phones, but just amazing. And being an ex-teacher, I really wondered how teachers handle this when kids are given assignments, especially in high school, where they can just put the subject in and the automation will generate a whole story for you. How do these teachers know? And Shep was saying that many schools where teachers do care about that, they will handle all the story writing and anything that needs to be done like that in the classroom with no computers on whatsoever, and all the writing would be done right there in the classroom, which is interesting. In fact, with all this modern technology now the teachers have to go back teaching like it was, 30 years ago when I was teaching. I'd like to go ahead right now and finish up this video and hopefully get it to you in the morning. It won't be a long one, and as I said, it's not very exciting. Just a couple of fun things. In the meantime, we found out where we're going to have a nice lunch for Billy graduating from fire captain school. That will be next Friday, I guess, on the 25th, whenever that is. And then we have something else that we're doing. Billy and Bonnie are going to drive with us to take us down to see Carly Jane, Jenny's new baby, because Jenny won't be coming out to the lunch, and she said it's probably a little too soon to bring the baby out in a big crowd. So that's exciting too. So we have some things to look forward to. So meanwhile, I hope you all have a good rest of the couple of days before I see you again. And the next time I think I'll be in the kitchen, I want to make those onion rings, those no-carb onion rings, and I want to eat them. So thanks so much for watching, my friends. I appreciate your binging, your comments, and just being here with us and being part of our family. So those of you who are not part of our family and not subscribed, come on, join us. We'd love to have you here. Until I see you again, bye for now, and God bless us all. This garden is up in Idaho at Bonnie and Billy's B&B. Bear Hollow Inn, and it is fantastic. Bonnie's tree here has all the pictures of the grandkids and us, which I painted the last time we were up there. And these are all her little birdhouses with a grandchild's name on each one. Now there's a little sitting place there, and here you can see the start of all the above ground gardening boxes, planting boxes that Bonnie built by hand, looking them up how to do it and then doing, including this gate and big fences to keep the deer and the turkeys out. She is amazing, and I can't wait to see